Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Just a podcast. Hello, everyone.
Hey!
We're in an episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast!
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
I am Logan Trent, a guest.
Logan!
Hey,
Logan.
the guest.
Yep.
How are you?
Not bad. I was just thinking about when we were talking about podcast and history, we have all this recorded history where it's written down on paper and it's all like, yes, the hardships of war and blah, 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 blah. And then now when we go back to our historical shit, it's going to be like fart sound effects added in on a political
Mattress
things.
ads.
And they're like, President Zoomies and
It's like, I long till I can quit the battlefield and caress your face again. Anyway, text fart shit zoomy butts to 6571 for 15% off your next mattress, booger.
Hashtag Frump.
I think it's our duty to confuse historians as much as possible and make their jobs as terrible as possible. Can you imagine?
We're confusing the shit out of the aliens right now.
Right. Can you, 100 years from now, going through all the Twitter and blog posts and being like, okay, this person is saying this, but I'm not even sure if what they're saying is a meme or not, or it's just going to be madness.
When
I think I remember
historians
pitching
look back at Rome, there's a lot of oh, by the way, they were putting lead on all of their food. When you're trying to understand them, they're going to be looking at us through the same fucking scope of
it's just madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still read with their eyes?
Yeah.
No, I think I remember pitching a sketch at Cracked where it was thousands of years in the future, archaeologists uncovering a bunch of Funko Pops.
Oh, that's great.
These were their gods.
What the fuck they are,
what the fuck are they? It's they clearly
idols.
Collected these totems.
Yeah.
Instead of pagans, we're just worshipping Funkos.
Collectibles are going to be the most confusing. I often think about that, looking around at all the collectibles my dumb ass owns. I'm like, what is a Venusian archaeologist going to make of this shit?
I don't know if you can see that. There's a giant Lego Batman set right behind me, so I got some dumb shit sweet. There too. Yeah.
There's a Great Onion article, an old one that was dead hipsters' parents have no idea what to do with his stuff, and it's just them rummaging through his shit. Is this worth anything? What is any of this? It's shocking. I got Adam Ganser and Elias Funko Pop because I guess that's a thing. It is shocking. There's in Little Tokyo, there is just a store that is you just realize the sheer number of Funko Pops that exist for things.
Yeah,
it is.
There's one for everything.
I think we have ones of us, probably. I feel like they've made one for every human being who's existed at this point.
Yeah, no, it's... my God.
Deservedly so.
It's shocking. Yeah. Yeah. Logan, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
for having me.
Would you like to tell people where they can find you? What are you up to? Anything you want to plug? Stuff like that?
Socials, I'm at the Logan Trent on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And me and our good friend Adam Todd Brown now have a new WNBA podcast called WNBA over
that's great.
on the You Don't Even Like Patreon, but also it should be on its own feed, just WNBA on like Apple and Spotify and whatever. So
That's awesome.
That's really cool, man.
drops every other week. So heads up. Yeah.
Right on.
Sweet.
Sweet. Well, I guess we can talk about movies.
Probably should,
I hear they're
man.
back.
Should we name some
Yeah.
producers first?
Yeah. Producers are definitely back. Big old thank you to @NerdNumbers.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Andrew Logan. Deserves more hype, McGuire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe. Is too distracted by the announcement to hear any of the trailers. Congratulations, Tom and Marina.
Thank you.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thanks. Let me swoop in here. Excuse me. Thank you to Bootler Bootlison.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brockway loves the meat millie.
Thank you.
Thank you to Burrito wants you to drink water, hit the gym, and do the ska, because they loves y'all.
Thank
Wait,
you.
I gotta interrupt there. Did you guys see that ska video? Somebody apparently, it was on Twitter. They uploaded this a couple of weeks ago. It's from like 15 years ago, and it is Oscar Isaac in a ska band.
Oh, yeah. That's been around.
Incredible. I had never seen it before, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That feels familiar, but also I'm feeling the shock of learning that for the first time.
It just feels right. Like,
It's so good.
That's the thing. When I saw it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he would be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was in Less Than Jake. Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
Dan Heckroyd.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to David Knife Boot Henson.
Knife boot.
Knife in the boot.
All right. Big trailer week. If you like cartoon
If you like
lions.
big trailers with big
Yeah.
wheels and, like a trailer.
budgets.
let's talk about Mufasa.
Yeah.
This is the live action. It's the sequel to
The prequel.
John Favreau. Fuck, really?
It's the prequel.
a prequel?
Yes, it's the prequel to the
All right,
John.
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Sorry.
yeah.
His dad.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god! So it's the prequel to the Lion King, the John Favreau live action one.
Yeah, live action.
that-
Because they really trained lions
Yeah.
to do all of that.
No,
Big
they really
quotes,
did. No,
live
it's
action.
fascinating. That's many hours of supplemental material.
Yeah, that movie.
The animals were fierce negotiators.
The only thing I've seen from that movie is that scene that Tom sent me a couple of times of Simba.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
when
it's
he
amazing.
dies. It's the funniest fucking thing.
It's
That
like
movie
it's
made-
such a brutal moment in the original film, and when it's a photorealistic cat, it just looks really funny.
Yeah. That film made almost $2 billion, $1.6 billion,
That's too
which I
much
guess
money?
is almost.
That's too much
Yeah.
money.
Despite, I don't know if people know this, it being bad.
Yeah.
It being like a really listen, it was made. I love John Favreau. I love all the people in it. Great
Cast and the
cast
effort that went into it, the music.
to make just the most doomed from the start concept.
To make an
like-
ugly piece of shit.
Yeah. What if we
Basically.
took the Lion King and made it real lions?
Took all
the
the
type
color
that don't
out of
emote.
it. You remember how that
Yeah.
original film had all these gorgeous colors and everything
Yeah.
popped
Remember
and
the
it was
bugs?
vibrant?
They were all like you were like,
Yeah.
oh, I think I might eat bugs after I
Yeah.
watch this cartoon. These look like gummy worms, and then it's just no.
It's one of the biggest downgrades I've ever fucking seen. Where it was right in that, it was 2019 where we were still like, I mean, Disney was still couldn't lose, right? And they were still doing these like gray ass adaptations that I still, for the life of me, I think it's just because kids movies, right?
Yeah.
Because kids movies always kind of make money, and I kind of honestly assume this will also make $1 billion.
Sure, it'll make $1 billion, I'm sure.
Because it'll just be there.
I mean, good for Barry Jenkins.
Yeah, I like Moonlight. I mean, that's not a controversial thing to say. Moonlight was a very good movie. And like I saw he was defending this on Twitter. People were sort of like, they said like, "Oh, don't become Bob Iger's puppet." And he sort of gave a very nice like, "Hey, The Lion King is great. Everybody loves The Lion King. I don't feel like I'm doing something soulless," which I know like he probably kind of has to say that in this moment.
Yeah, it's oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I mean, maybe it was made with a lot of care. I mean, I've been surprised before by Disney sequels. But,
yeah,
you know,
Cinderella 3.
A Twist in Time.
Twist in
Extremely
Time, yeah.
good.
This is the 12 Monkeys of Cinderella sequels.
This is from the writer of Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Ooh, nice.
Hell yeah.
And Tower Heist.
Who is that?
But also Rush Hour 3.
Who is it? Who isn't it? Like, is it? Oh man, I feel like I know who that writer is.
I don't know. He also wrote Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Is any of this helping?
Nope.
Is any of this?
Nope.
This is. Yeah. Wow. I do. Oh man. Ted Griffin or Jeff Nathanson is the writer. I don't.
Oh, I think I was thinking of Ted and Terry Rossio. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'm not going to see this.
Probably not. No. Why on earth would I? It's fine.
The only thing
I agree that The Lion King is not soulless, but The Lion King, that they made that movie. It came out 30 years ago.
And the remake came out before pandemic. Like, you know, back when we were coughing in each other's mouths without a care in the world.
Yeah.
Like just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the
whole
thing.
screening that I went to of The Lion King. Just people grabbing each other's ears and just screaming into each other's open mouths.
I remember like you and Dave would like
everywhere.
open podcasts with the
Cough
right
fast.
into each other's
Yeah.
mouths, doing it in the same room. Like
We used to have the
What we
guests
tried to
just
do is-
lick the microphone.
Yeah, we try to spit, right? And you spit in the air and coordinate it so that you perfectly land in each other's mouth with the spit.
Yeah, it's called Ookie Mouth.
It was originally called Tom and Jeff Lick Batman too.
Yeah.
Wow, it was.
I
We had to make some changes.
I got to point out, I mean, there's the thing you noted, Tom, which I've seen a few people talk about. Also, like, they show fucking Timon and Pumbaa in this, played by it's Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen again. In even the live action version, they're just like two buddies that Simba stumbles upon, right?
Yes.
Like they're not part of the legacy. Like it's weird that they would show up in the prequel.
It's a
to
framing
me.
device because I was confused about that. Apparently, it's like Rafiki telling Simba's daughter the story of Mufasa, and those two just are like, "Hey, might as well ruin this story." So
That's honestly like
Okay.
good news.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I was like, they clearly were like, we have to get these fuckers in here. We got to cram them in. And I'm glad they didn't like do something dumb, I guess.
Disney is the master of cramming fuckers.
Yeah.
They have
Tom is
crammed
right,
some
like-
fuckers.
they say like he came from no royal blood. It's like, wait, the fuck? Like the whole
Right,
story.
I really
That
thought
makes
that's
no
the
sense.
speech he gives Simba.
Yeah.
About, like,
Yes.
being from a
The
long
speech
line
is-
of kings. This
That's
is the
the
speech
point of
my
the-
father told me. Like, what?
That's the point of the fucking arc, right? Which
Yes.
is that his hubris is his downfall, and Simba watches that.
Yes.
Like, that's part of it, is this idea of, like, I'm Simba, I'm untouchable. I'm the rich kid.
That's why
I
Scar
can't wait
does
to be king.
everything because he's a
Yeah.
usurper to the throne. Like,
Yeah. It's. Are they. Like, it's
It's
really
Hamlet.
frustrating. Yeah.
the one thing that I noted, and I just had to pause it, and I double checked because it's only a couple of frames. They had the audacity to put a fucking white lion in that goddamn movie.
Wait, what?
Like, if you
Oh, I
watch
didn't
There's
the
a white
Mufasa
lion?
trailer, he's running with this other lion, and it's a fucking white lion. Which, if you know, like about the
Oh, right, that's the
lawsuit
Kimba.
involving Kimba the white lion,
yeah.
is absolutely hilarious to me. It's like they just
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
give
see
a
it.
fuck now.
Yeah, which The Simpsons famously referenced, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're jumping on hippos.
Oh yeah, like that terrible video game.
Yeah. What I will say,
That second level was designed to beat you. That was like a directive from Disney at the time.
It was that and like the Aladdin game. All the Disney games were like, no, we need these people to rent it for multiple nights.
Exactly, yeah.
I will say, I don't have much good things to say, but I will say that it feels like they took the note, like Barry Jenkins took the note that the first movie was, like they have more expressions.
They're more expressive,
They're a little more,
definitely.
Yeah, they're more cartoony. And it looks like the musical numbers are a little more like that, because fucking that first movie, watching like the "I Can't Wait to Be King" song
When they're
back
just
to back.
walking.
Yeah, and it's just like what are we doing,
Photorealistic
man?
animals walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really
Singing
paid
to
the
each
animal
other.
trainer a lot more for this one, because he really did
Yeah.
get these live action animals to just look so much
They
better
sure
than the
did.
other actors.
Yeah, they really coached some good performances out of them.
Oh yeah, those hippos, that great fucking hippo choreography. There's another stampede in this, so like it's funny that's like
That just keeps
Mufasa's-
following Mufasa.
Stampedes
Yeah,
and Cloudfathers are just
That's like
continuing.
yes, there's a Cloudfather. It's like his snakes, like it's his one weakness is stampedes or whatever.
Stampedes
poetry,
and
it
Cloud
rhymes.
Fathers.
Yeah,
We can move on, I
we can move on. I'm never
Disney
going to
can't.
talk about this movie again.
think. Disney certainly can't. It would be hard to move on from $2 billion. I
Yeah,
understand.
that's true.
I get it, and like I guess the final thing I'll say is like I hope, it's weird to say, I hope this flops. I hope that they have that's the only way these things stop.
I know
right?
I know why you're saying that, yeah.
Yes,
so that
I
they don't
need-
continue doing these weird remakes.
It's such a waste of time. I don't know. It's they make a lot of money and then everybody forgets them, and that's that. And it's just a little, I don't know, frustrating. Let's talk about the Glassworker.
Yeah.
This is also an animation. This is out of, I want to say,
Pakistan.
Afghanistan?
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
It's their first animated feature.
Okay, yeah, and it's about some sort of magical glassworker.
Yeah, with gins.
Yeah,
it
there's
does.
a gin in there.
I wrote that it looks like every Studio Ghibli movie combined, which it does, but not in a bad
yeah.
way.
No, it's
It's
clear
like
that
it's like the storyline recognizable elements of like 3 different movies I can think of immediately in Studio
Yeah.
Ghibli. But
It's like they
whatever.
copied, but they copied from like the smart kid, not the
Yeah,
dumbass who's gonna get him like a D. Like yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time director. He did a short before this, and I feel like that's exactly what happened. Is he watched like those films and he was like, well, I can do that. Watch me, motherfuckers. But it's like the exact same type of animation, which again, not a problem, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also I'd like Pakistan. It's like, okay, we need to make sure that we get some cash with our first one. Okay, colonizers and gin. Okay,
Yep.
we know we can make money with that. Like, yeah, no, surefire bets.
Who's doing the voices? I couldn't find any of the. Oh, I'm seeing them here.
I don't know that it's
recognize these
anyone
people.
notable, yeah.
No, it doesn't look like
Yeah,
it.
I think it's all
Gotta get
local
Christian
actors
Bale.
to them. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you say it is. You said Christian Bale. It is like a lot of it seems to be inspired by Howl's Moving Castle, at least the Studio Ghibli inspiration, because like the main story is about this glass blower and his like glass blowing son, and they're like master glass blowers, and then this war is coming, and they're like, hey, make us a war machine with your powers, and he's like, no, I don't want to do
Right.
that. And then the boy falls in love with the princess who plays a violin, and also there's gins.
Yeah, there's
it
like
looks-
the
it
magic
looks-
of music and art.
Yeah, it looks like Howl's Moving Castle with Castle in the Sky and
Yeah.
a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff. But it just doesn't mean it looks bad.
No, not at all.
no.
It's I don't know.
As long as it
it's-
doesn't end with a surprise A-bomb and both of them starving. That movie's
I
so
think,
fucking brutal to watch.
Oh man,
Wait, which one?
What?
Which one? Which movie?
Wow, I'm just blanking on the name. Not Valley of the Fireflies. The oh man.
I understand.
that's
There's
that
too many
Valley of the
movies.
Fireflies is the anime where they die in a cave, right?
Yeah,
like,
that
isn't
one's
that like a legendarily sad anime?
Yeah.
It's what is it? Was one of his more recent ones?
Wait,
I don't
no,
think I've
Grave
I
of
don't
the
think I've
Fireflies. It's exactly the one I was thinking of. Yes,
Oh, okay.
they do die in the cave after the A-bomb goes off, and they're ghosts later on. Yeah, that fucked up. That really fucked up 12-year-old Logan when he is seeing that. Wasn't ready for that.
That sounds fucked.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that.
It is a really good movie, but also it is incredibly sad. So
I didn't realize it was a Ghibli film.
yeah, that's one of
it's-
like their earlier ones. Yeah,
And it's not made by he didn't direct it. I'm blanking on his name.
He didn't write or direct it. It's shoot, who did this? It's Isao Takahata
yeah.
directed that. So yeah, he was the other co-founder. So yeah.
While we're talking about Japanese animated stuff, might I quickly suggest Delicious in Dungeon was referred to me by Starlene Hodge.
I can't wait to
It
watch
is-
that.
Okay, yeah, it is like morphine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I was telling you about this, Tom. The basic premise for people listening is a group of adventurers like D&D style who is just their main directive is they want to eat everything in the dungeon and like cook it in nice meals. So like things like fucking living armor and stuff that you don't think to eat. They're like, I wonder if we can eat that. And every episode is a meal prepared based around some fucking boogan in this dungeon that they've murdered. And the whole time they're trying to get this red dragon, which of course, you know, they have plans for that dragon. It's just a group of maniacs eating their way through a dungeon.
They're
That's
literally
it.
chasing
That's
the
show.
dragon
Yeah.
to feed their food addiction.
Yeah.
Miyazaki,
But yeah,
that's the name I couldn't remember a second ago.
But yeah, the Glassworker it's chill.
Yeah,
It's chill.
no, it's the opposite of what we said in regards to The Lion King. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, go see this instead. When they say Glassworker, they mean like glassblower, right?
Right,
Like
that's what we see him do in the trailer anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
So he mainly makes weed pipes and dildos on the side, right? Like every glassblower I know, that's actually their job because that's the only.
So many weed
Like, if you're-
pieces.
Yeah, if you're a glassblower, that's pretty much.
Yeah, unless you're
bread
working
and
at like
butter.
a pioneer village or
Yeah.
like a Revolutionary War village.
I'd argue even those people on the side, they need some extra money, right?
Oh yeah.
They're making some
I
old
have
timey
never
dildos.
encountered someone who worked in a pioneer village who wasn't absolutely stoned off of their ass, like
Right.
smoking behind a barn or something like that.
It's a requirement.
You do not do that job while sober.
Oh,
Should we talk about presumed innocent?
oh man.
Yeah, we
This
should.
is all right. This isn't a movie. This is an Apple TV mini-series based off the Harrison Ford movie, which is based off a book.
Based off a book, yeah, but still, it's the Harrison Ford movie, Presumed Innocent.
starring fucking Jacob Gyllenhaal.
Jakery Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. It
Roadhouse is
it
Jake
just,
Gyllenhaal.
Roadhouse is
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Do you remember I was saying that Ben Affleck is our Michael Douglas? Meaning that after, what is it, Deep Water?
Deep
where
Water,
he gets the
yeah, that
husky
husky
hand
ass
job,
hand job.
where it's like, oh, we need someone to do the sexy thrillers like Michael Douglas did. Give it to Ben Affleck. That's perfect. I think we should give Jake Gyllenhaal all the we gave him Roadhouse, right? So it's like, do we give him the Patrick Swayze roles or do we give him the Harrison Ford roles?
I disagree.
And
For
Okay.
number 2 note on there, because I feel like in casting Jake, everyone is always justified in saying, "Oh yeah, that guy definitely fucking killed his wife." Like,
he has murder his wife face.
yeah,
for
he
sure.
has definite like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see this motherfucker." Finally, they uncover whatever it was that he did in a reenactment on like true crime doc
Yeah.
that you're watching. You're like, that guy 100% did it. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
You have no situation where you're like, oh, I think Jake is innocent. Also, Rusty Sabich is an all-time incredible character name. What a fucking
Yeah.
great name.
I don't know how you can get away with naming a character that
Yeah.
and not having someone go like, okay, let's do another pass on the
Right.
names.
Like, don't you get a ticket for doing that?
Yeah.
Like, the cops show up at your house if you create a character
Yeah.
named that.
Rusty Savage.
Anyway, I'm going to watch this. And yes, they should remake every Gyllenhaal film. I'm sorry,
Harrison?
remake every Harrison Ford film with Gyllenhaal, like Witness.
Yeah,
They should
I'm gonna
invert
say
it and remake every Gyllenhaal film with Harrison Ford. Can you
should
imagine
switch
him as
Donnie
Donnie
Darko.
Darko?
Bubble Boy.
Holy shit, Bubble Boy.
Harrison Ford
Yes,
is
I
Prince of
want
Persia in the
$500.
sense of time.
Oh yes.
Prince of Persia. Holy shit.
That is.
Oh, man.
I want to see that so bad. If I
it'd
were
be
a
great.
billionaire, that'd be like that would be day number
I
one.
would make that happen. That's the only good use of AI, is that we
Yeah.
get to make Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time starring Harrison
With
Ford.
Harrison Ford. Yeah, someone get on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do
that's
that now.
cultural appropriation I could get behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
But yeah,
that
I-
should mean it's in the public domain, right? when it's as
Yes.
egregious as that film, we should just get to do whatever. We should get to put Harrison Ford in it and not get sued.
Yeah, they should. The law should have like a little, except for Harrison Ford, like little loophole that they write in. Yeah, I need to. I have Apple TV for the like occasions that we have to watch something on it, which doesn't happen that often. I need to open that fucking app
There's
because it
some good
has
stuff on
so
there,
much
yeah.
stuff.
It's got so
I
much
feel like
shit,
it's
and I
a
just
whole
keep
world.
forgetting to go in there. But like, yeah, there's so many. I think I was talking with Abe about this. It's surprisingly one of the best apps in regards to like sci-fi television. Like, there's just
Oh,
so
yeah.
many good sci-fi premises and shows of like a
really-
variety of like real world sci-fi, weird like fantasy sci-fi, and just other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks real chill, and I want to watch this. I want to remember to watch this.
They
I don't
should
know
do
when it comes
Regarding
out.
Henry next.
Oh God.
Ooh, that'd be a good
Because
one.
J.J. Abrams, he wrote that. And
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
producing this.
Well, yeah, fuck it.
Jake
Didn't he
Gotta
make
get
him
Witness
the
in there.
fugitive.
Put
Fugitive
Jake in
for
the
sure.
Fugitive. I don't
Indiana
know,
Jones,
man.
fuck it.
I didn't kill my wife. You absolutely killed your wife. Shut
Of course
the
this
fuck up.
dude did.
Yeah.
It was a one-armed man.
It would sound such like a bullshit
sound
excuse coming from
deranged
him.
coming
You would
from Jake
never
Gyllenhaal,
believe
yeah.
it. Yeah.
With his coyote eyes.
His fucking sweaty little fucking coyote eyes.
Remember when in Prisoners, like, this is a light spoiler, but like he doesn't do anything wrong in Prisoners, but the whole time you're watching, you're like, what did you do wrong, Jake Gyllenhaal? Where are those kids, Jake? And it's just because they knew, like, he has Jake Gyllenhaal face, he has guilty face. We're gonna use that.
Isn't his character's name Detective Loki?
Yep,
Probably.
it is, yeah.
It sounds like some
Don't
bullshit
know if that's his
he'd be
first or
named.
last name.
It's both.
It
Loki,
is. Yeah,
Loki.
he's a mononym. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Cher.
Yeah. Oh,
I
fuck.
do have to imagine that you don't need a whole lot of like specification for Detective Loki. I don't think there's too many of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford in Nightcrawler.
Holy shit. I want to see Enemy. Ooh, Enemy with Harrison. Two Harrison,
Two Harrison
Fords.
Fords. Now
Just
we're talking.
grumbling at each other, yeah.
Harrison. Well, I don't want to spoil Enemy, but Harrison Ford at the end of that with the reveal thing.
That face would be perfect. I'm just like, not buying it. Not buying it.
Nope.
Hell left it's this in here.
Insomnia is the next one we are to talk about. I googled insomnia, and Google is like, "Oh, you have trouble sleeping?" And I'm like, "Okay, insomnia like movie." And they're like, "Yeah, Al Pacino, pretty good." I'm like, "Insomnia 2024," and they're like, "What? Insomnia Gaming Festival 2024?" It's one of those where it's like, have a new name for your Paramount Plus show.
What are you doing?
Google is broken. It's just so
Yeah,
bad.
that too.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
highest bidder.
also true.
Yeah.
This is about. I did find it. It is a TV series.
Yeah.
A woman is losing her mind after suffering from, you guessed it, sleep deprivation. And that's all I know.
I put a
And
checklist
that's all they really tell
down
us.
while I was watching this for cliches. It
Yes.
check opens with a British child asking about a monster in a very creepy way.
He looks like the Babadook kid too.
Check.
which I know isn't British.
They
but-
go to a business place of businessing and just say, "You're gonna make partner soon."
Yeah, that had real like Neil Breen energy, where
Check.
it's like the business people.
Somebody asks, "Does blank run in the family?" Check.
Yep.
Ominous random shots of just weird water in a bathtub, in a dark pond, in every fucking other place that she's in. Check.
Yep.
Random mystery scribblings on the wall and drawings that have no fucking meaning. Check. And then
Kids gotta
finally,
draw.
jokingly saying a line from the beginning, but in a very creepy way about, "I'm the only monster here." At the end. Check. Very cliche written trailer, man.
Oh
Nailed
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like she starts missing time and waking up places and doing creepy things, and creepifications start creeping into her life. I don't know.
I do like the general premise. This could be fun
Yeah.
for sure. The basic premise of not trusting yourself
Yeah.
when you like fall asleep is always very fun.
I feel
Yeah,
like
this
this
shit's
should have been
unsettling.
a movie.
What's that?
I feel like this should have been a movie rather than a miniseries. It just, I don't know.
It feels like a movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It just reminds. I used to sleepwalk, and I once beat up my friend while asleep. And I always think about that because it's like, you know, I was like, there was like a summer where I was like, I'm terrified of myself when I'm asleep, so I relate to it. In my defense, he was in my way,
Yeah.
but you know.
Also, Tom has several small British children that constantly ask him about monsters.
Yeah, where'd you get those kids? There's so many of them.
You know, TaskRabbit.
Ah, that checks out. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It looks fine. I got nothing else.
I don't know. It's very cliched. Maybe the premise is interesting. I wish it told us a little bit more, but maybe.
Yeah. Let's talk about Lee. This is a real war photographer.
Lee Miller.
Lee Miller, apparently a fashion model who became a war correspondent. So like, yeah, fucking cast Kate Winslet. That's perfect.
Good work, movie.
Yeah, good work. With her trusty sidekick Andy Samberg.
Yep.
That really is a shock. Like, you're right, Tom. In the notes you put, like, they try to sneak him in, and they're like, Andy Samberg's here, and it's like, what? Hold on.
Slow down.
Yeah. His legal name is Andy, so he can't do the Andrew Samberg for dramatic.
Yeah, he's like her Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Kinda,
Like
yeah.
he's following her. There's a Skarsgård,
Yep. They'll pop up.
so that's cool.
From time to time.
Yeah, you'll get a Skarsgård. This looks I mean, I think this is a movie. This looks
is a movie, yeah.
very serious.
Yeah, it looks like it could be good. I mean, Lee Miller's an interesting historical figure. And I like Kate Winslet.
I just wonder if, as opposed to Civil War, this movie about war journalists will mention the several war journalists currently dying
Yeah.
instead of just kind of, sweeping that under the rug. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious what the point will be, you know?
I don't know. Yeah.
This director is also a cinematographer. He's done a lot of TV. He did like the Catch-22 miniseries, Legion.
Oh, okay.
Gotta love some Legion, Ozark. Just a lot of TV stuff.
I will say from the trailer, it looks as though it will be about a similar idea from Civil War about like the morals of documenting without intervening.
Yeah.
Right, and I remember when we talked about Civil War, we sort of said, like, does it need to be during this feels like it's a similar idea, but without the premise that there's a Civil War in America, right? So I'm, like, wondering, are they going to do the same thing without, that premise? And that might be interesting. Ooh, one of the writers also wrote Mindhunter.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's decent. I mean, this looks gritty as fuck. I'm in it just for serious Andy Samberg.
Serious
I am
Samberg.
Every comedian has a moment where they have to be serious, and like they're always really good at it. and I'm excited for serious Andy Samberg.
One of my favorite tweets is from Patrick Schumacher, who co-created the Harley Quinn show. He said that he wished that somebody would cast Larry the Cable Guy in a Oscar bait movie so he could be credited as Lawrence the Cable Guy.
Oh, that's so good. I want it so bad. I mean, he's
Lawrence
good.
the Cable Gentleman.
Yeah.
We know he can do accents. Who knows what he's capable of.
Holy shit.
They should have put all of Lonely Island in this
Akiva
show.
just shows up. Akiva should have directed this.
Yeah. I want all of
Jeez.
them, and I want them to pretend like they aren't there. Like, no recognition of it.
Yeah. Speaking of Andy, like, because somebody was bringing up that we haven't gotten a good Andy comedy in a while. I really wish that HBO, they did those 2 comedy ones with sports, whereas like the one was mocking
Bash
the Tour de
Brothers?
France and the other was mocking tennis. I wish they would do like a golf one with him, because that just feels like it'd be easy to film and just really funny.
Well, they are making a Happy Gilmore too, right? I've
Yes,
been
they
hearing
are.
about that. Yeah. So stick them in there.
We need Christopher McDonald to stay around long enough to be in that film.
Man.
Yeah.
And so it looks like Andy Samberg is doing a movie about a cryogenically frozen guy who is trying to get his girlfriend back. That's his next thing. It's from the director of fucking Lars and the Real Girl and I, Tonya, I believe.
Gillespie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am in for whatever the fuck that's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Shoot.
Yeah. This movie, however, again, like, I mean, this movie looks very good. It's not really a genre that I normally like. It looks like a bummer, right?
Yeah, it's a war drama, and not like a war movie. It's just a drama about war.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah,
but
It reminds us that
it
World
still
War
looks
II
very
was very
good.
sad.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, a lot of bad. Have
Yeah,
you
this
been reading about this?
yeah. It's a bummer. But it looks. I mean, it looks good.
heard about this.
Should we move on?
Yeah, we should.
Bad Behavior. This is Jennifer Connelly in like a dark comedy. It's hard to tell what's happening, but I'm in. Like, I'm interested. It's the synopsis is a former child actress seeking enlightenment at a retreat led by a spiritual leader navigates a relationship with her daughter. So that's what we got. And yeah, it looks like there's something wrong with the retreat, right? Mm-hmm. Something's up.
Yeah, it's like run by Ben Whishaw, and he's being all weird and cult-like.
Yeah.
And it seems like Jennifer Connelly is like a little bit in a madhouse at this place. Like it seems like she's a little bewildered by all of the strangeness that, like a sort of like in a Gilliam kind of way almost.
Yeah.
It looks like this retreat is not being run by certified
No.
therapists. No.
It's probably not a reputable facility.
Yeah.
Should
There's
be
definitely
noticed
going to
that-
be a Hulu doc in the future on the people that run this facility.
The writer and director is also one of the actresses in it. I think the one who
Playing
plays
the
her
daughter,
daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
she's like young.
She's
She was
Jane
born in
Champion's
94.
daughter.
She's what?
She is the daughter of director Jane Champion.
Oh, okay. I bet this is going to be really good.
It looks weird, and I'm into it.
Yeah,
Like, it
I
looks
like
really
weird.
weird. I'm into it.
It's one of those things where I was like, I haven't seen Jennifer Connelly in a while, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad she's doing stuff. Nice. Okay.
She does.
Yeah, I think it was Top
Does she
Gun.
have-
Last time.
I feel like she has a TV show or something.
Oh, Snowpiercer for a minute.
Snowpiercer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those like what's his name? The Nick over there.
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen, where I'm like, what the fuck, man? You did like a bunch of bangers. You did Inside Man and Children of Men, and they were like, I'm out, motherfuckers. Gonna go do the Nick forever.
I'm going to say that
And
The
it's like,
Nick
come
was
back to
2
us.
seasons of perfect television. That was a fucking great show.
I gotta watch it.
So good.
Yeah.
I love when Steven Soderbergh's like, just give me a fucking camera in like 6 months. I just want to do some weird shit. And it's like, oh, well, this turned out great.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm just looking at Jennifer Connelly. I didn't realize she was the voice of Spider-Man's suit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is the
Yeah.
AI in there. Yeah.
It seems like she's just kicking around. Like she's not. I mean, and good on her, right? Where it's like she's like, I'm Jennifer Connelly. I'm not going to come out for anything but Alita Battle Angel and the
best.
Snowpiercer TV show.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out with Paul Bettany, my husband.
Yeah.
We've got handsome
Be
and
weirdos.
attractive women stuff to do.
Is she really married to him?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
terrifying.
They have the weirdest marriage. Apparently, I forget what tragedy. I want to say it might have been 9/11, but there was something that happened where
did
there was
it?
like a thing that happened,
was them?
and he just wrote her and said, "I love you," and then he flew over and they got married immediately. Like
That's
they
so
never
weird.
went on a date. He just was like that after they had starred in something, and then they just immediately got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they both get like arrested, I won't question it. Like if they're just in jail one day and they're like, yeah, they did horrible. When we looked in their basement and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And we had to just put them away.
I could see
And
them
that's that.
having nanny bones somewhere on their property.
Yeah, and they also have that like we saw you across the bar vibe, right? Like it's all of that.
Except I feel like if they did that, people would be like, okay.
Well, yeah.
Of course.
Where do you
then
think all the
we'd
nanny
never,
bones come from?
Exactly. We'd never see them again.
Anyway,
yeah,
so
this-
bad behavior.
This looks good. This looks good.
Let's move on.
Yeah, they
This
don't
next
really
one's
give a
interesting.
lot in the trailer other than this is just a crazy ass retreat. So hopefully
Oh
it
yeah.
has some good vibes in there. Yeah.
It's one where it's like sometimes that works against the trailer, sometimes it works for. This one I thought worked for, where I was like, I've seen enough here. I'll find out what the fuck this is.
Yeah, the next
Same.
trailer doesn't have any words at all.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
This one is also a nightmare to Google. Monster.
Oh yeah, not a lot of
This
stuff
is-
with that.
Yeah. I said in the note this looked like the film The Boy Behind the Door, and then I looked into it, and it is in fact a remake of The Boy Behind the Door.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which, if you haven't seen that movie,
I haven't.
that is a very good movie. I watched it. I watched it a while ago, but it's the basic premise of The Boy Behind the Door, without obviously spoiling anything. Is it's a boy who wakes up, he's been kidnapped, and there is a boy, and he is behind a door, you see, who has also been kidnapped, and it's about that boy trying to navigate this house to try to get both of them out. And he's sort of, the killer is, or the kidnapper is there. He's like, it's almost like Alien Isolation, but with like a dude, where this kid's like trying to get through the house. It's a very good take on the escape premise, because making them a child really takes the edge off of that. You know what I mean? Where you're like, this kid can't drive. He can't, like, there's so much less a kid can do.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Where it's like, it's much harder for a kid to get away. And then there's
right.
more to it than that. It keeps escalating in a way where you're like, wow, this kid's fucked. It's that feeling. What'd you guys think of this?
It looks good. I'm going to have to check out The Boy Behind the Door.
Yeah, the premise
Yeah,
was
and
interesting.
this.
I I didn't hear about Boy Behind the Door until you dropped that link in there, but just the premise sounds, like you said, it's using a kid versus just like some dumb like 20-year-old or something really kind of takes the premise on a different edge that's really kind of locks you in a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot easier moments where, like, those moments where you're like, just bash their head in. It's like, no, it's a child. Like, the child can't do shit. And that helps.
It's kind of like that very different premise, but it's kind of like how the stakes were kind of elevated with the movie Cop Car by it just being two kids.
right.
Man,
yeah,
I still need to watch Cop Car. I haven't
It's
seen it. Yeah.
It's one of those movies where you're like, oh yeah, that's why you hire Kevin Bacon. 'Cause, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Terrifying
It's
Kevin
another
Bacon.
one that's been on my list forever, and it's every time I go past it, it's like, is tonight the night? I
Yeah.
don't know if tonight's the night.
It's hard, man. Whenever I have, like, a week off, I do that. I just, like, sit and try to watch.
I try to.
Yeah.
There are still, like, I still haven't seen Room, because there's still
Yeah,
some I
see,
get to
same
where
here.
I'm like, is tonight the night? Not
Yeah,
for Room.
Room is one I'm like, this seems like no fun.
The Brie Larson film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is a good movie, but that's 100% one of those movies where you're like, yeah, am I really gonna get into this? All right.
I'm starting Room.
Yeah, it's 8:00 on a Saturday. I think I'll just fucking get in bed, watch Room. You know.
Within 15 minutes, I'm watching Starship Troopers again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they said,
holding
a
pillow and
I'm
crying.
just picturing Paul Verhoeven directing Room.
Oh fuck, that'd be a much different film. I feel like. This does look. I mean, it's a remake, but I still want to see it because it still looks a little different enough. Like I don't know. The boy behind the door.
Well, this is the girl behind the door in this version.
Yeah, they should have called it that.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a little more of a budget, which is weird to say because both are just in a house. So I might be wrong there, but I am very curious about this. It is. Where is this from? What country?
I'm not certain.
No.
Indonesia.
Aren't both of them foreign films?
I don't actually think that's a good question. I don't think the first one was. Let's see. No, I don't think so.
Oh wait, no,
I
there's
think
a bunch of white people from America in this. It's in South Dakota. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is an
So this is
Indonesian
the-
remake of an American horror film, which
Right.
Yeah.
Which happens. I actually love it when that happens. Like we had the 2090s craze of remaking J horrors like a year after they got made, and I like when like Eastern countries are like, yeah, we'll do that too.
I love
Fuck
when it's
you.
something really random. Like, do you guys remember when Japan remade Unforgiven with Ken Watanabe?
And it
Yeah, I still
rules.
need to see that.
It's so
very
good.
good.
And it was just like,
It's
what?
very good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I liked that the Cube remake. Remember
The Cube remake was
Japanese
pretty
Cube
alright,
remake
yeah.
was chill. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, I don't know. Check out both. Check out both of these. All right. Oh, second to last trailer. Mind, Body, Spirit. This is a found footage yoga horror movie. This is I think this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, this looks like it could be fun. It looks like serious Deadstream.
Yeah.
It does. I wish they didn't say in the poll quote was it's found footage Hereditary, because that makes me go like, oh, I think I know what the plot is then. Like that I don't know. That feels almost too spoilery.
I would like
To
if
me,
the
but
only
maybe not.
connection was that just Tony Collette attacks her randomly.
That'd be
Right,
amazing.
it just explodes into the film, and we're all frightened but delighted at the same time.
Tom was right with the Deadstream vibes, and I mentioned like one of the things that I loved about Deadstream is they picked the absolute right type of online person that you want to see bad things happen to.
Yeah,
Like-
that you're like you don't feel that bad for
a douchebag streamer, and in this one it's a wellness influencer. Like it's just, oh yeah, no, I'm glad you're getting haunted. That's fine. Yeah.
I also think I don't know, it looks very well done. Did you guys
It does.
that ending jump, I guess it's called a jump scare, where her, I assume, mother or grandmother is in the back of
Some
the
sort of
shot.
Her Tony
Googans.
Collette.
Yeah.
her
I
Tony
really
Collette.
liked how they did that because I genuinely didn't see her standing there until she moved.
They blended
because you're just
that
not looking
well
for
with
it.
like her wardrobe and face in terms of like to the door or whatever background she was in, where it did not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because
I-
it's not a
might not
dark
work on
shot
everybody.
scene. Like it's like bright in that room.
Right, that's the thing. It reminded me of the Exorcist jump scare, Exorcist 3, where it's like a jump scare without cutting. This was the same vibe, which was like, oh, she was standing right there. There was no point where I didn't have the opportunity to like see her, but I was still like got jump scared by it. It was good.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of talent in this.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
never
Or at least I
heard of this
suspect.
actress before, but she seemed like she's capable of commanding, like, you know, the whole camera by herself for most of this, which is, I'm assuming, what's going to happen if this is just
There
her.
looks like there's a couple other, like she makes a phone call with like, maybe her mom, it seems. Like somebody is like tells her that your grandmother's not who you thought you were. So there's going to be a couple of like video phone calls and stuff probably, but does seem like it's just going to be mostly this actress
like
for the
there's
entire film.
Yeah, there's a point where she's being filmed while sleeping, so I assume like the ghost is filming her,
Sweet.
which is very funny. I think it's going to be over the top, right? I do think it's going to be. It might be a little serious, but I don't think it's going to be as serious as we think. I'm hoping it takes itself seriously, but is over the top in other ways. You know what I mean? Because it does look like just this old woman just creeping around, being a weird
Tom
little
said
goblin.
like the line like your grandmother isn't who you think it is. I just pictured her sending her a link to Toni Collette's IMDb. She just clicks on Muriel's
man.
wedding. I love Toni Collette. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's the best.
She's
fucking
fantastic.
awesome. And this movie looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Now it's time for the final trailer.
Baahubali, Crown of Blood.
When you said you had an extra trailer link, this was not what I was fucking expecting.
Oh, really?
Animated
This
sequel
is-
to Baahubali? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Same director, S.S. Rajamouli is
Person
coming
behind
back.
RRR, yeah.
Yeah, the director of RRR. That was the one that really took off, obviously.
But Baahubali rules. It's a 2-part fucking epic. I think it's
love
still on
this.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that he did this because Baahubali, yes, we've said it before. RRR is great, but go watch Baahubali 1 and 2 because that's like
his Lord of the Rings, man. It's fucking epic.
It is Bollywood.
And I love that. Yeah. I love that RR got so much buzz, and he could have easily done like a sequel right away, and instead he's like, "No, I have more to say about Baahubali," and that's nuts to me. That's my goodness.
You made the point, like, it's almost insane how an animated version is a toned down one compared to the live action.
Yes,
It's so nuts. Yeah.
it does.
It does look more restrained than the
It's kind
film
of like
Baahubali.
the Jackie Chan adventures on Kids WB versus like the Jackie Chan movies, where it's just like,
real
this
life
isn't
Jackie.
as exciting as the live action stuff.
It does not look like they had the animation budget to do this.
Everything that we said about the Pakistani film in terms of like really upping their game and stuff is the opposite for this movie. It looks like it was animated entirely by mobile game ads on like Twitter and Instagram.
It's like Adult Swim level.
It is.
Like,
It's pretty bare bones. It's pretty bare bones.
which is tough for Baahubali.
And when I say mobile
like,
ad games,
that's-
I don't mean the good ones. I mean like the ones where they have like the note underneath where people are mad and they're like, when
The
I
community
downloaded the
noted.
game, this isn't actually what
Yeah.
you play. Like that type of animation.
I love that that's mostly what Community Notes has been used for, is to let people know that the video game being advertised doesn't look like that.
Yeah. It I wish it has I think it has a tinge of this, which is like almost like G.I. Joe X-Men vibes to the animation. But it's not quite, it's too cheap, like we're saying. But it's like I would love to see like kind of that vibe, or like one of those Mortal Kombat animated movies.
Yeah.
This kind of looks like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the animation
but
was
it-
actually good. And like, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fun. Especially with like the level of action and violence and stuff that they have in Baahubali in an animated world. That would be a lot of fun. This was not that though. But yeah.
It does kind of look restrained.
glad-
I'm still going to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad he's following his passions, you know. I'm glad he's telling the stories he wants to tell. But I will say that part of the charm of Baahubali was watching the live action stuff, watching a bunch of a cluster of men fired in a fucking
Catapult?
and it be big quotes live action. Like obviously, you know, CGI was involved.
Also the
but
facial
like that,
expressions too. Like
yeah. So I don't know. I'm still gonna watch this too.
I will
because-
watch this before I watch
Yeah.
Mufasa. That's
Well,
just
yeah.
an easy.
Yeah, that's a given.
It's an animated sequel I can get on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Baahubali. There's more to tell.
there is
That's
more to
epic.
tell.
Also, it's Baahubali Crown of Blood, which is just okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
How
what
am I
you
going to
get.
turn away from that? How am I going to turn away from that?
It's not at all for kids. I love that.
I would love if Baahubali just became like the go-to child franchise. Like,
Yeah, starts becoming $1 billion. Like,
It's like,
it's
oh,
just
it's a
Disney
cartoon. I'll
buys
just leave this on in the
Baahubali.
background. I'll go do my thing. Yeah. I'll let Netflix babysit my child.
Should we thank some more producers?
I think we should.
All right. Big thank you to Deborah's awesome. Barbara's great and cancer can go to hell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Driftless, God Emperor of Hype. Suggest everyone watches 1985's The Return of the Living Dead. Way ahead of you.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you to Ed Nog.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Exploding Runes. Thank you to Funky J. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Highlander. Likes the way Tom says pretty sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Hombre.
Thank you so much.
Hombre.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net. Issue 3 is out now. Gorge yourself on our fiction. Gorge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me jump in here. Jay the Crow Baron says, build a guillotine in rich people's yard, 2024.
Thank you.
I feel like that's
Thank you to
appropriate for
Krishnanovich.
any time of any year.
Evergreen. Evergreen, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mom on a podcast.
Thank
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Helldiver.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Hey.
Mr. Tell your wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Darius Rucker.
Thank you.
Thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream in Space McNulty.
Thank you. Oh,
News
my
stories,
goodness.
man.
All right. Let's talk about The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So there was this piece in
Dwayne
Rap,
the Tardy
Rap,
Johnson.
yeah, about how there was this Red One film that has
I had genuinely
basically just-
forgotten about that movie.
Me too.
Entirely.
it was supposed to be out like 2023. Did it come out?
Wait, isn't it Red Notice?
No.
Oh, is this a different one? I thought this was about
It's a
Red Notice.
different.
Yeah,
this
I
is
swear I thought this was about Red
2024.
Notice.
Oh, I thought this
No.
was about Red Notice.
So Red One. No. If you're wondering what Red One stands for, it is the call sign, I believe, for Santa's sleigh.
Oh,
It
this
is-
fucking movie. Okay.
I'll read
Okay.
the terrible fucking synopsis. After a shocking abduction from the North Pole, the commander of the ELF, spelled ELF,
Nice.
ELF task force, must partner with the world's most infamous bounty hunter to save Christmas. This was never gonna work.
I'm going to just say I saw Red Notice. That sounds better than Red Notice because Red Notice is not a good movie. That's why everybody describes bad Netflix movies as Red Notices.
Oh, that's amazing. This is this feels like it was doomed from the start. This feels like
That's
this is like a 30 Rock
you
gag,
read
right?
that off the paper, you just immediately get sad.
This is
Yeah.
like
This is the director of Jumanji.
Oh, that sounds about
I
right.
think only the sequels, only the Jumanji. Also the director of Walk Hard, which is a good
Those
movie.
are all pretty entertaining movies.
Are you sure it's
Oh,
Walk
yeah.
Hard and not Walking Tall?
No. This has Lucy Liu in it, Nick Kroll, Chris Evans, and J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus. So like kind of the best movie ever made at the same time. And yeah, this is a $250.
in many ways, a film that deserves to be seen.
Yeah. It's a $250 fucking movie. You
Million.
can look at production stills. Yes, sorry. Where it's Santa in like a leather duster. This movie definitely got away from them. I feel like they're having meetings now. Like, okay,
Now,
how did this
I
happen?
can't wait to watch this.
This
now.
is a
This
movie
look-
like
my
3
God.
Christmases late because we had that one with Mel Gibson that I didn't want to watch because it's Mel Gibson, whereas like that mafia kid wanted to
Fat
hunt
Man.
down Santa, and then we
Right.
had Die Hard with Santa with John Leguizamo and
David
Stranger
Harbour,
Things.
which was Silent Night.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue this is done, right?
We're done with this type of Santa shit.
Yeah. Ooh, Bonnie Hunt as Mrs. Claus. This is all to say that basically the story in the Wrap, that apparently Dwayne Johnson was so late to the shoots by sometimes 6 or 7 hours that they have just like, this movie's cost $250 million, and it's something like $100 million of it was like wasted on The Rock.
My favorite story, and I don't know if this was real or a joke, but somebody tweeted that him being late so often helped them accrue enough hours to cover for union coverage for like health benefits and stuff.
That's so good.
Which I hope that is a real story, because that is great.
I'm getting
sweet.
like
Yeah.
Bruce Willis making Die Hard 4 vibes, like the stories of that, where he would just like cost the studio millions just because he didn't like the script, and he would stop everything and just like, and he was fine with it. Like he didn't give a fuck. And like that's the vibe I've been getting from, like, weren't there a couple stories that like hinted at The Rock being...
Yeah, he has a reputation for like blowing interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Emily Blunt... Is that who I was thinking of, who said like someone she worked with?
No,
like,
that was
screamed
Rebecca
at her?
Ferguson, and
Okay.
she said it wasn't him, or like he made it clear it wasn't him. But yeah, she said
Okay.
somebody was such a piece of shit to her that she requested he turn his head so she could act opposite the back of his head because he was an asshole. And I think people, they were trying to detective that.
Internet detectives think it was Hugh Grant, but that's the
That
the
seems
Rebecca
like it would
Ferguson
be Hugh
story.
Grant. He is a giant dick.
There's other stuff apparently.
The bottles?
Now we're hearing about him
pissing in-
peeing in bottles on film sets.
They gave you the
getting in
specific brand, right? Isn't it like a Voss bottle?
Voss.
The thing
He-
with that is, like, The Rock drinks like 7 gallons of water a day to maintain that muscle mass, so he must just
God,
be
he pisses
pissed.
like a horse,
like, the
man.
amount of bottles there are like just
so many water
so
bottles
much
full of
piss.
his pee.
Oh yeah. I'm also hearing he got in a huge fight with Ryan Reynolds apparently on the Red Notice set.
How do you fight
Which is
Ryan?
a very
Ryan Reynolds
funny
getting in a
thing to
fight with
happen.
anyone, like actual fight, is just like, okay, you've gone too far.
I don't think that like
Yeah.
it came to blows. It would be amazing if it did. This is all to say that like I think it's just that he's
Swole Chevy
at one point
Chase.
we were saying he's the #1 star in the world, right? That
Yeah.
was swole Chevy Chase. Where like The Rock, I think we just inflated his ego so much because there's obviously the stuff with Fast and Furious. Although I would argue Vineyard Diesel doesn't seem.
Oh
like a
yeah, no,
particularly...
that was like Rock'em
Vineyard
Sock'em robots
Dieselton.
of 2 assholes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. It's all to say that like I can believe it doesn't sound like he's like done anything like amazingly egregious. I can believe that he's got an inflated ego and is
Big shot in
tanking and he's now tanking productions for that reason. Like it's one of those things, right? Is like, can you imagine being like a writer or director and writing like an action movie, and then they say, okay, The Rock has signed on, we're gonna rewrite the entire fucking thing and change your movie, because that's what would happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like if Tom Cruise is attached, or it's one of those where it's like, this is now The Rock's movie.
well, The Rock probably just walks in. It's like the hierarchy of this film is about to change.
The power hierarchy is about
Yeah.
to change.
And if that doesn't work out, it just, you have to know how to deal with that, I imagine, and it's probably very frustrating.
It's absolutely insane to me that Tom Cruise, like, we all know the weird, crazy, Scientology shit. But whenever you hear about him on a set, it's always just like, oh yeah, he just buys me a coconut cake every birthday. And then he made sure that all of our stunt people got paid really well. And then he did some weird dance.
It reminds me of it reminds me of the saying I've heard about freelancing, which is that you have to be professional, good, or punctual, but you only have to pick two. Or like it's professional, nice, and it's talented, professional, and nice, but you only have to pick two. And you can tell like Tom Cruise what he picked, right? Where everybody's like, oh yeah, he's extremely professional. That we just we were we don't care that he's like a weird cult guy. Doesn't matter on set. He doesn't bring that shit to set.
Nope. Yeah, we have not had.
Leave that at home.
Yeah.
I got no issue.
Yeah. That is a home thing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, your alien cult needs to stay at home.
It is a shame though.
I feel like that's
'Cause,
why he
like-
does the Mission Impossible stunts. He's just looking for a way out. Like,
Yeah.
if I fall off of this building,
Xeno will catch me.
Elron.
Yep.
Elron. I saw people tweeting about how, like, in Walking Tall, when he did that, like, nod with Schwarzenegger, and, like, that idea of, like, we had that expectation, right?
That's in the
like,
rundown,
new
I think.
Schwarzenegger.
That's the rundown.
The rundown.
Sorry.
It's when he had hair still.
And, like, it's just kind of, I don't know. It feels like he got so big that, like, we do that Schwarzenegger podcast. We talk about this where it's like, Schwarzenegger still did weird shit, even when he
I think
ran everything.
I've been talking about, I think we've talked about this at some point in some episode, or I can't remember. Anyway, The Rock, it's somebody posed this question to me where it's like, what's your favorite movie of The Rock's? Like, oh, it was you, Dave. You were asked, like, what's The Rock's Die Hard? Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, he doesn't have one, because if you look at all the movies, he was the biggest, he was the biggest star in the world for many, many years. I'm not sure if that's still true after Black Adam. But it's probably he's probably still way up there. He's one of the most famous people on the planet. But, like, it seems like he has pretty bad taste.
He tried to do Die Hard with one leg, and that movie bombed. That's Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what it is that...
like, his movie, like, The Rock, he's such an oddity of a movie star to me, because he's like a super charismatic dude and a likable dude, but, like, his movies aren't very good.
The problem is he would have, and I've said this a bunch, is he would have such a more interesting career if he had just even like 15% less ego when it came to picking things out. Like, you don't see, that's one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed what John Cena has been doing. Because he is, like, no ego when it comes to making himself the butt of a joke or, like, anything like that. Like,
100%.
Rock would never do, like, some of the stuff that Cena does, like, there.
He trusts the director. He reminds me more of Schwarzenegger, where, like, he trusts the director to make a movie that is possibly bigger than him, right? Like, you look at, like, fucking, what is it, Rampage? Like, that's like based off a video game. It doesn't feel like that. It just feels like a Rock movie, right? Like, he makes it's clear that, like, any movie he's in, the only movie I can think of that wasn't like that of recent is maybe Moana, because Disney's like, we can have you killed, The Rock, you know, like it like very few things, you know. It reminds me when, like, Tom Cruise did Eyes Wide Shut, and it's like one of the few times Tom Cruise is like, yeah, I'm not the big shot here, I guess.
Tom Cruise is weird because he has a like weird instinctual knowledge of filmmaking. Like, everyone who talks about him, like, says he knows his shit.
Taste,
The Rock does. Is The Rock coming back for the live action Moana that they're doing?
He is, yeah.
Probably.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, man.
We're gonna see.
I think he sort of spearheaded that, because he ate a lot of shit on Black Adam. And I'm pretty sure that's why he's wrestling again.
This is why, if The Rock, listen, The Rock, I know you're listening.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Yeah, the answer to what's your favorite Rock movie, me personally, there is one beautiful span of 12 months between 2005 and 2006. And that is the Doom followed by Southland Tales, The Rock, where it's like, it's not perfect, but by God, you aren't the thing. You are trying something. You're not trying to make, The Rock, this is The Rock's film. It's like, no, I'm going to even be the villain. It's going to be weird. I'm going to do something different.
I like some of the rundown, especially any part with Ernie Reyes Jr. Hey, hip hop.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
He's such good trash talking in there. But, like, I like the Fast and the Furious movies. Like, I've unironically been watching those since, like, the start. And just, he's great in those because they're so stupidly up. Like, they're just so confusingly ridiculous and stuff
They're
like
his
that.
Tone, right?
But then he did Hobbs and Shaw. And again, like, a little too much ego, and I feel like Statham knew exactly what movie he was making, and The Rock was a little too egotistical for it. That's why it just doesn't work. It's not a good Fast and the Furious film.
I still enjoyed it for what it was, but
I had fun with it. That's true.
He needs to recalibrate. He needs to,
That one doesn't. That one doesn't feel like a Rock movie, but I guess it is. Yeah. Because it's a Fast and the Furious movie, but it is his Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right there in the name. Should we talk about this live action Scooby Doo?
No way it's worse than Velma. That's my immediate
I haven't
reaction.
watched.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't watched Velma.
it's tough, man. I think it's pretty impressive that they've managed to keep the Scooby Doo ball in the air for so long, right? Like there's a lot to be said about James Gunn and that one he wrote, right? And like those live action Scooby Doos, like that really like breathed new life into another generation with like nostalgia for that.
That's probably true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because like, and now you think of it and you're like, man, they can't get Matthew Lillard. I mean, he's old as fuck.
They had
so,
a
like,
cartoon on Cartoon Network that was kind of like a more serious one, but also still funny. Like that, a lot of people seem to have huge support for. I don't remember the actual name of it. It was like in the mid 2000s. Tom, you were saying you didn't see Velma. Velma is basically if they tried to copy the Harley Quinn formula and did it bad. Like everything
That's
you
what I
like
heard,
about
yeah.
Harley Quinn, except not done well.
Yeah,
That's
I did
true.
not see Velma.
Yeah.
I heard it was cringe, as the kids say.
I
I
saw
don't have
2
anything
reps
against
and I
Scooby Doo.
bounced.
That said, I'm fine with
The
Scooby Doo.
dog?
No, the property. Like I don't.
Oh yeah,
It's one of those things that.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Dogs and
that they
mysteries.
Just, yeah. I
Had a
don't,
great
yeah, I don't mind
Supernatural
them trying to keep
episode.
remaking it.
yeah. I like the last live action one, all the weed references. Have you guys ever just gotten so high, like too high, and watched the original Scooby Doo cartoons?
Yes.
No.
Okay, because it's definitely like you watch and you go, "Oh, I get it."
I have gotten really
That's
high and
why
watched
it's
Super
what it
Friends, which is, I
Okay.
imagine, a similar experience.
Yeah, where you realize like, oh, this is where it got that stereotype, right? It's like the stoner watching, where you watch it and you're like, okay, it all comes
The
together.
funny
now.
thing
This
is
a
I
blast.
think that the people who made Scooby-Doo get offended when you imply that there's like weed jokes in there. Like they don't think that they like that seems like
Oh, you mean the original?
yeah, the original ones are like
Yeah.
we didn't mean it that way. It's like how the fuck did you accidentally stumble into that if you didn't mean it
These
that way?
dirtbag hippies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I mean, the obviously the live action ones make like direct weed
Mm-hmm.
jokes. I believe his love interest is named Mary Jane.
Yeah, James
in
Gunn
the,
knew what he was doing there.
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
wild. That's like when Terry Gilliam, after making Fear and Loathing, was like, "I've never tried acid," and it's like, I don't.
That is it.
believe you.
Yeah. You are a liar. You made Brazil, sir. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, come on.
You
no
made
way that's
12
true.
monkeys.
Terrence.
Yeah. You know, 12 Monkeys, I believe, is still his highest grossing movie, which is kind of wild when you think about
I
it.
still like
where it's
it
like
the
that's
best,
as Hollywood
honestly.
as he gets. Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Is that Brad Pitt's
Um,
best role?
It's up there.
I mean,
up
he's a
there.
great actor, but it's just, man, he's so good at. I mean, he did get a
Fuck.
nom for it, right?
I might have to watch 12 Monkeys
I
tonight.
think that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
All right. Final piece of story.
Sorry,
of story.
I'd just
That's
like
words.
to note that we spent more time talking about Terry Gilliam than fucking the Scooby-Doo Netflix
Scooby-Doo.
thing, which shows how excited
I
we are
mean,
for it.
I mean,
I'm not
I
mad
guess
at it.
the only thing I have to say is it's what you said, Tom. I'm not against it, and I'm honestly like, if they're like Mickey Mouse, where it's like, I guess you could just keep remaking
Mm-hmm.
it. Dirtbag hippie kids never die. I guess they never. There's always an analog for that. So,
Yeah.
all right. This I found this exciting news. The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is going to have a Blu-ray special feature where they just have no CGI. It's all mocap performances. And I had two things to say about this. One being, I just love that like physical media, any bump it gets, right? Like it's cool for any reason. Like remember when they did like there's a couple when they did the black and white versions of things and like I like anything where they're doing home media stuff because
Director's commentaries were so fucking good.
That was my
They
favorite
were.
thing.
It was
yeah.
like Soderbergh was talking about. He's like, yeah, it's basically like getting a film school for a fucking rental. It's just, yeah.
I think we might get a little resurgence. We'll see.
I just want another Ben Affleck, Michael Bay director's commentary.
Yeah.
That Armageddon one is hilarious.
It's so
He
good.
knows what a
That's
piece
the
of
stuff
shit movie he's in.
That's the shit where I feel like they won't let you do it
Oh,
anymore,
no.
right? Like the nihilist fucking DVD commentary when they just don't give a fuck.
Remember when they had a Criterion Collection DVD of Armageddon and The Rock?
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah,
But
I argue The Rock deserves to be there.
oh, I think so too. I love Criterion.
Yeah.
I love that they're not snooty about it. That they're like, yeah, no, we'll throw that in. I really, we've talked about this. If there was ever a case for mocap, you know, like that Andy Serkis when he was saying like mocap, you should get a Oscar. It's ironically not him that has convinced me. It's Toby Kebbell and the other Planet of the Apes, where like his performance is legit.
I think he's our
and
finest
not just
ape
legit.
actor. He also played Kong.
He might be. Yeah,
He did play
he
Kong.
did.
That's
And,
right.
like,
Yeah.
in Planet of the Apes, you even can kind of tell it's him. Like the expressions, you're like, yeah, that's Toby Kebbell behind all that ape shit. So I don't know. I'm excited for this. What do
Fantastic
you guys
Four is
think?
Tony Kebbell. I hate
yeah.
that movie derailed him because I legitimately like him. That Black Mirror episode
He's
is
great.
still one of my favorites, and
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's great in fucking Rock and
Yeah.
Rolla. He's yeah.
but
I will say, did you guys see the promo stuff for this movie, The Apes on the Beach?
Yeah.
Logan, did you see that?
for this
they
film,
had for this film they had apes on horses and like Santa Monica.
oh yeah,
on
I
the
saw
beach.
that at like the Venice Film Festival, like yeah.
I couldn't help but to look at that and go like, well, just do that in the movie. They look good.
I think that
those costumes look good.
After they spent the money trying to do that for the Tim Burton one, I think they were just like, never again. It's like,
I know.
Think of all that we lost, though.
yeah. I love that like Paul Giamatti is unapologetically still loves that he did that movie because he loves the original
so
Planet. He's
good
like,
in it.
yeah, I get to be an ape. I love it. It's so great.
He's
I
perfect
love
in
that.
it.
Yeah.
I love that Charlton Heston shows up and gives him a gun.
Yeah. Gives Tim Roth a
Gives Tim
gun.
Roth a gun. It's like, really, Cheston?
Of course he does. He takes it from his cold, dead hands.
He does.
He literally takes
takes
it from his cold, dead hands.
Holy
The
shit!
balls of that movie to end with Abraham Lincoln is
Abraham Lincoln.
just
Holy
man.
fuck.
I love that movie.
Great movie. Let's watch it.
I would love
let's
to
move
ask.
on.
Sorry, just real quick. I would love to ask Mark Wahlberg what he thinks happened in that movie because he is a very.
Explain the ending
Yeah.
of Planet of the Apes, Mark
Oh,
I want you
Wahlberg.
to
shit.
explain it to me. Explain it like how you would explain what would have happened on 9/11 if you were on that plane, Marky.
Yeah. I do have a question.
I'd have stopped the apes if I was here. That's the reason Abraham Lincoln is this, because I wasn't there to stop him.
I would have John Wilkes booked his ass.
I'd have boosted him right in the back of his head,
Sic Vempa Tyrannus.
of his little monkey head. That's what would have happened.
I do have a question about this. Is that like, speaking of the Tim Burton one, the original Planet of the Apes was like a milestone for, costume effects. So it made sense for Tim Burton to do what he did. Do you think it is an extension of that legacy to do mocap
In a way.
as like,
But it does,
it's hard, right? Because
it is excluding one of the people that it's trading one set of artists for another, right?
right. The question, of course, is mocap
For
the same as costumes, and it is kind of like sad to me that like in my head it's kind of like when the new Indiana Jones like CGI'd so many stunts where it's like this to me is like the legacy costume series, and I get it for like the early stuff where they're playing like monkeys and not like monkey humans. It's like, yeah, you kind of have to CGI that, I guess, but I do kind of miss costumes for this.
I'll say it's like a case by case because I feel like with this doing mocap allows you to better encapsulate like what an ape would be like because you can have them do like the physical stuff that a human being even without like the makeup just can't do in terms of like strength and like flipping and stunts and things like that. It really bugged me more on the Hobbit stuff because you see some of those like sketches for Guillermo del Toro's version where he was like, okay, this is what the orcs are going to look like. This is what that is. And there was no need to do that like full CGI. Like, I really think it's like if you have a reason for it, like again with these where it's like, oh, we're trying to have them do non-human things that we just can't like have stunt people do safely, I'm okay with it. But like when you're just lazy about it, it's like, eh.
The orc stuff was unforgivable to me. They were so visceral in Peter Jackson's. It also, there was that like mid 2000s era where this always happens with CGI where they think they can do it. Like the de-aging in Tron, fucking my favorite
I'll
Tron.
say that didn't bother me because the weird uncanny valley of him kind of worked for that weird CG character that he was. But like, yeah, in X-Men Origins, when they pulled that out on Patrick Stewart, it just looked gross. Like, yeah.
They always, the point is they always think it's great before it is. And I would say for this one, the mocap is definitely like, I don't know, pretty polished, right?
The Indiana Jones stuff
But
was unforgivable, as you mentioned. Like, that was just terrible.
That stuff looked creepy as shit, yeah.
What an awful movie.
Don't want to talk about it again. Nope. Let's move on.
We've had several talks about this. We don't need to do it again.
Yeah, we don't need to dig that shit up.
More thank yous. Big old thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Sogol Volcanoconiosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones. Thank you. Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book so he can keep making big feeds.
Thank you.
Started watching that show. Thank you to Psychic Bigfoot. Thank you. Thank you to RevMD.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thanks so much.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you. Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you.
All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Municipal Medicinal Arsonist.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Tubi Terror Bunny, says the strikes may be over, but egg David Zaslav for fun and profit.
Yes.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Thomas J. and the Bees.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vincent.
What about Tux?
Thank you to Tux.
Thank you.
Thank you to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Thank you.
Thank you to Yorgos from the island of Crete.
Thank you.
And last but not least, thank you to your mom.
Thank you. Oh, we did it.
I can't wait to tell my mom that someone thanked her on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But not yet, Dave. There's still one more thing left undone.
Oh, no.
I need to know if you have a movie that deserves more hype.
Okay. I do.
Thank God.
You magnificent
really,
bastard.
really
I was really worried for a second there.
Yeah, me too. Me too. This is gonna be out this month, right? It's May. We're in May.
Yep.
April. Yeah, it's May. The Execution. This will be on video on demand May 28th. This is a Russian detective film based very loosely off of a real serial killer. It looks gritty as fuck. It's Russian True Detective. It spans like multiple eras and it's Russian True Detective. It's like a couple of detectives on this case, and it jumps around in time, showing like the different thing, like the different fucking struggles of these characters. It's gritty as fuck. It's a gritty detective
Woody
film.
Harrelson
I will
pops
say
up
the
with
trailer.
a hairpiece.
What's
Woody
that?
Harrelson pops up with a hairpiece.
Yeah, totally. It definitely tries to invoke a little Seven in one point in the trailer, where they're like the 5 stages of grief, but that doesn't actually seem like it has anything to do with the movie. It really feels like someone was like, "Can you make it seem like Seven?"
Can you connect it to
it.
American audiences, please?
Yeah,
and
it's about a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's about a serial killer named the Butcher who was active between 78 and 91. And it's just spanning that whole time around like one victim who got away in the 80s. And I think they actually think they caught the killer at one point. And of course, between the 70s and the 90s, Russian, law shit changed. So it's like dealing with that stuff as well. What did you guys think of this trailer?
You were talking earlier about how some of the titles were hard for you to Google. When I tried to Google this, I just got scheduled executions in Texas and in Louisiana.
No. Did you try Executions Russia? I'm sure that gave you more specific.
So, man, that was a hard... It took a while to get to the film one. Because then I was like, man, if I put execution and movie in there, I'm going to get a video of someone getting executed. Yeah.
Google's going to be like, you got it, bud.
Live leak.
Time to ruin your day.
Well, that's not around.
Clippy pops up. God. Did you mean execution?
Yeah. No, this seems interesting in there. It's, they did have some of that stuff with they're forcing it in with like the stages of grief when it's like with Russia, it's just like they died. I accept it. Move on. Like that seems like what it would be like over there.
The one stage of grief.
The one stage of grief. Dead. Da. But there's definitely like some True Detective vibes with like the jumping timelines and stuff like that. It's actually, when I was reading a little bit more, I was really interested, especially with the notes that you were dropping in, on how they really showed the different relationships pre-Soviet fall and post-Soviet fall, and just like how that affects everybody in there, because that just is a nice historical background to have for something like this. So
a lot of the reviews I saw was like, this is not action heavy. This is all character heavy, which is of course a very good sign for something like this. A gritty murder detective serial killer thing is like, there's no like fight scenes or anything. It sounds like it's all just grizzled as all fuck. Like it's very.
I want
grizzled.
A lot of like Russians monologuing while smoking cigarettes that probably have ground glass in the tobacco. Like,
I think you're in luck.
Yeah.
No, this looks good. This looks like the kind of mysteries that I like to watch.
Yeah, it's very pretty too. Like it looks like it's, I don't know, the cinematography and shit. It's a real spooky.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you were talking about Seven, but yeah, there's some definite like Fincher-esque lighting choices and stuff. Where, which is, we were complaining a little bit earlier. I forget what movie we were talking about. Just like the Lion King with its shitty ass looking lighting and everything there. Like, I just appreciate more and more when we have cinematographers that actually know what to do with stuff now.
Yeah. For sure.
To be clear, I like all mysteries. I just like spooky ones.
Yeah,
as well.
And this one, it feels like it's drawing from a lot of familiar looks, but they're looks that I like. This also has on Rotten Tomatoes, it's overwhelmingly positive. It's at like a 91%. And looking at the individual reviews, all those reviews are high scores. Like, you know how like Rotten Tomatoes, everything could get a C and count as fresh. This is all like 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, like B scores and stuff like that. So like it seems like people really like it, and it's just like, you want a good, solid, fucking grizzled mystery. You got it, dude, as they say. So the execution.
Yeah.
Just Google "watch executions online."
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find what you're looking for.
Executions Russian cam. That's what you want to look for.
Yeah.
Throw ghosts in there. Why not? And that's a sewed.
Woo!
We made it.
Woo, we've done it. We've done it.
We did it. We accomplished things.
I think we're the champions of movies.
We might be. Logan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun.
Yeah. Would you like to, at the end of all things here, plug some stuff once more?
Yeah. Again, like I said, at the Logan Trent on socials, and the WNBA podcast with me and Adam Todd Brown. It's on the You Don't Even Like Patreon, but also it should have its own feed. So just look up WNBA on like Apple or Spotify or wherever you get, podcasts. Also, I always say this on every friend's podcast of ours, but like and review this and, our friends' stuff, like Jeff's things over there, because that always really helps with the algorithm. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's very smart. People should do that. And also check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/, gamefully unemployed, GAMEFULLY unemployed. For $5 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We also watch movies every Friday night. That's the night these come out. Logan, you are often there watching movies with us.
Yes, I am. I'd like
very
to
excited
say
watch...
that just for the Patreon thing alone, if it was just Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, or just Fox Mulder is a Maniac, or just Spiel Boys, it would be worth it. But all three of those together is a fucking ridiculously great deal. Three of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, buddy. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your little peepers onto that.
Yeah, slap those
your
peepers.
Russian True Detective peepers.
Yeah, your grizzled peepers.
Yeah, pretty sure
So
Dave said he
goddamn
was going to
grizzled.
do Russian executions for the next T-shirt that you guys have on your store.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we can come up with
They'll
something.
be
I'm
good.
sure we'll play around with it. It'll be great. All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. Find him on Twitter at @thecorlew or go to shipwrecksailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Episode artwork is by Justin Brown. Available on Twitter as @JustinTBrown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or Twitter @StarleneX. Goodbye now.